Just to the west of the French capital, Paris, it was time for the start of the Race to the Sun. La Course au Soleil, Paris-Nice. The 83rd edition of the race that really signifies the start of the stage race season proper. 156 kilometres then between Le Perret en Yvelines all the way back to the same town. 2 loops making a strange looking figure of 8. 1,500 metres of climbing, a couple of late bumps and lumps. Maybe something to deter the sprinters who were hoping to have their chance on the opening day to pull on the yellow jersey. Some very late bonus seconds to be given out as well, with just 9.5 kilometres to go. 6, 4 and 2, the bonus seconds available for each of the intermediate sprints at this race. A 3-man breakaway didn't really pose too much of a problem, despite the presence of a rider who'd won in big races from the break. Taco Vorderhorn, back from an altitude camp in Colombia, and racing, but not racing away. He was with Delettre and Fernandez. With 70 k's to go, they had just under a minute. Never given more than really 2.5 minutes all day, the peloton had this one in hand. Tim Merlier, the European champion, one of the several big-name sprinters here. Soudal-QuickStep were looking after him. Mads Pedersen, his big rival from Lidl-Trek. Samuel Fernandez, the young Spaniard, attacked for Caja Rural. He took Delettre with him, the latter on his way to becoming the king of the mountains at the start of this Paris-Nice. Vorderhorn was caught by the peloton before the other 2 riders were a few k's later. 49 kilometres to go, and we were all back together. How would the race work out from here, though? There were plenty of nerves, that was sure. Teams trying to keep their position at the front, and with the final classified climb about to happen, Julien Alaphilippe took off. Now racing for Tudor Pro Cycling, a second division strong team from Switzerland. The former world champion was marked effortlessly by the former winner of this race, Matteo Jorgensen. He was in the same team as Jonas Vingegaard, who was following on. Plenty of contenders for victory at the end of the final 8-day event. Victory on this climb went to Jorgensen, 3 points in the KOM classification, but that's not what he was aiming for here. Alaphilippe and the rest were aiming to try and blunt the legs of the sprinters. Alexander Kristoff started to struggle. He'd get back in, but it would be a while before he regained control in the peloton. And when it came to the final intermediate sprint, Jorgensen was after those bonus seconds, trying to defend the title he won in Nice last year. But the 6 bonus seconds would go to Jonathan Narvaez, the Ecuadorian champion, taking those 6, 4 going to Jorgensen, 2 to Sheffield. Sheffield's teammate Josh Tarling then attacked. He was marked by Matteo Trentin. And Matthias Skjelmoser, another GC contender, will be there for Lidl-Trek. Could they upset the sprinters? They had almost 10 seconds with 5 k's to go. A long straight line back into the Finnish town, but with 2 kilometres to go, the breakaway artists were caught. It was then down to the sprint teams. The next point will be a race into a final sweeping left turn to be taken rather sharply. But it was chaotic, it was uncontrolled, it was difficult for sprinters to find themselves in the right place. Tim Merlier's teammate Bert von Leerberger, a former classmate from their school days, he was there and tried to ensure that Merlier could take his own top marks from this particular class. The European champion went. Mads Pedersen was on his wheel, but didn't have the acceleration this time. Merlier well above the rest and winning, pulling on the yellow jersey at the end of the opening day of Paris-Nice. Top of the class again then. Merlier from Demar with Dainese in 3rd place. Handshakes and congratulations all round for Soudal-QuickStep. A strange old sprint with many of the big names not even getting up to the top 10. But Merlier was there. And not for the first time in his career, he will lead Paris-Nice into stage 2. Already a 5th victory of the season for the Belgian. Merlier, Demar, 3rd place to Dainese. So the yellow jersey on his back. The first leader of the Race to the Sun. And let's take a check on that lead. A 4-second advantage over Demar. The same ahead of Narvaez, with Dainese and Jorgensen in 4th and 5th. It could be much of the same on a sprint expected on day 2. However, you never know. The wind is often blowing in this part of the world. 2 early climbs before a ride through the countryside. Long straight roads, a circuit around the Finnish town. An habitual stopping point for Paris-Nice, Bellegarde will host the end of stage 2 after almost 184 kilometres. You'll be able to see it live on TNT Sports.